Welcome to Fight for Life, a pro-life radio show discussing the ministry of First Choice Pregnancy Services here in Las Vegas. I'm Deborah, board member and executive director of First Choice Pregnancy Services.
And I'm Jessica, logistics specialist at First Choice Pregnancy Services.
We are ambassadors for the unborn. Welcome to the show.
Good afternoon, friends. Thanks for joining us today. This is Deb and Jess and Louis. We are all ambassadors on behalf of the babies, here to share insights and real-life stories in the fight for the unborn. We have some stories for you guys today. Wow.
You do not want to miss today's show.
Jess is going to bring you all the weekly updates and announcements, and then we have Louis here today. He is our safety director, and we're going to have some fun conversation with him, but go ahead, Jess.
Before we do, let's kick off with the weekly update from August 17th through the August 23rd of 2023. First Choice has provided 66 free pregnancy tests and 42 free ultrasounds to our patients. If you are tuning in for the first time, First Choice is a Christian, life-affirming nonprofit pregnancy center nestled in the center of Sin City, Las Vegas, Nevada. We shine as a beacon of light for God, who allows us to serve the women of this community. The clients that we serve are mainly abortion-bound. So about 81% of our abortion-bound patients do end up choosing life after coming to First Choice first. And it's incredibly vital that we do reach them with our free services and speak up for their defenseless child's life inside their womb. If you would like to join this conversation, please call the radio station, 702-650-5588. If you're joining us live on social media, feel free to interact with us, and you can find us on Facebook and YouTube at FCPS Friends, or on Instagram and Twitter at FCPS_friends. Deb, you want to chime in about our event coming up real quick?
Yes, we have our annual spectacular gala coming up, banquet. It is going to be October the 6th at the Westgate. We have Robin Sertel as our guest keynote speaker that night. She is a 3-time abortion survivor.
And she's going to be on this radio broadcast too, right before.
Yeah, she'll be here the day before the banquet, sharing a little bit with you guys. She's one of many. Oftentimes people don't talk about abortion survivors, but there's quite a large network of those that have survived the abortion procedure and are living testimonies of God's mercy and goodness as they advocate on behalf of those babies that will survive in the future that deserve the medical care and attention.
And when we say abortion survivor, let me just clarify a little bit on that. So it's not a woman that's gone through an abortion and has survived. We're talking about the baby. The baby whose mother tried to kill through an abortion has survived that. And Robin Sertel, who's our keynote speaker at the 19th Annual Champions for Life Banquet, October 6th at the Westgate, her mother tried to kill her 3 times via
saline abortion.
And she survived all 3 times. Tell me that God doesn't have a plan for her life.
Amen.
So we're looking for people who would like to buy tickets to the event, people who would like to sponsor, people who would like to purchase a table, bring your friends. An idea the other day that I was talking with somebody and it kind of came into fruition in our conversation. Pastors, buy a table and bring your fellow pastor friends, your peers with you. We're always looking for pastors to partner with First Choice. One way in coming in and praying with our people and encouraging them in this fight for the unborn. And 2, getting their people involved in their churches and supporting the vital and important work that we carry out daily at First Choice. You can check out our website, fcpsfriends.org. All the banquet information is on there. All the ways you can participate and help are on that site as well.
Also, if you'd like to come and meet up with us, Deb will be at the Love Thy Neighbor Festival this Saturday at, is it 10 or 11, Sean?
She might just be there a little late.
Well, I'll be busy running the center that day, so.
11 at Floyd Lamb Park.
Yes, so if you'd like to come meet up with us there, you're invited to that as well. But let's move on over to our guest of the hour, or the half hour, because it goes by so fast. Louis Mercado. He's our safety director at First Choice. Welcome, Louis.
Thank you. Praise the Lord, everyone out there. It's a pleasure and honor to be here. It's a blessing to be here. It's also a blessing and honor to work at First Choice.
Amen.
I first connected with First Choice back in last year, November banquet through my church. And when Lupe found out that I paid $100-something for my plate, and she was like, "What?" But I told
Lupe's his wife.
she was. I told the reasons why, and she started crying. Ever since then, I started supplying the water for First Choice. I saw that they were using a water company, and I took it upon myself, and I said, you know what, save the money for another ministry, and I'll supply the water. And the owner of the water store said, you know what, we'll just give them the water for free, and she's still doing it. And so she's still supplying the water. She said,
"What's the name of the water company?"
It's a South Shores Water Store, or the LLC name is Alkaline Water King. And so,
well, thank you so much for supplying our water.
Yeah.
It's delicious.
she's always looking for the blessings, and I thank her each and all the time when I go there. I had met Rebecca one time, which she works at First Choice, and she had actually met me at the water store. And when I came in, and she gave me a tour, and that's when I noticed the water bottles when I was doing the tour, and I said, "You look familiar." And I carried mustard seeds with me, and she goes, "You had given me mustard seeds. You're the water store guy." So that's how we started, and I started just March for Life when I met Deborah for the first time.
You did our safety for that.
Yes,
event, right?
And I got a call from Rebecca, and he said, we're opening a position, but we're going to see if you're interested. And I said, sure, why not? And but
and
you know
why
what?
would we ask you for that? What's your background, Louis?
I'm an Army veteran. I'm a retired police officer. I did 2 years in child abuse cases, and also did 2 years in narcotics. And so, but when I was sitting in the banquet in November, I was sitting right next to my pastor, and they said they should make abortion a child abuse case. And I would love to become a police officer again to try to prosecute cases like this, because what I saw in videos, that is called child abuse to me. And murder of babies, I don't even refer to them as unborn anymore. I just refer to them as babies now.
That's right.
They are living. They have a heartbeat. And on our 10 to 12 weeks, their fingerprints are being formed. I put that in coordinations of like in numbers in the Bible, when you have the rabbis have tassels on the bottom of their clothing, and that's their identity. And so now, to me,
They're called zeets.
Yes. And so now I'm looking at such fingerprints and toe prints. That's their identity. They have an identity now, you know. So why? I mean, I can't fathom why you want to murder this baby, you know. But something happened on the 12th of this month. I normally talk to the dads, but just basically if they want water, how's he doing? But this one really touched me.
And this is why I said, Louis, you gotta come on the radio.
And the Lord, I'm gonna tell you, I get frustrated every time I look on the monitor. I see all these cars going to the abortion clinic, and I get frustrated. And I say, Lord, please help me here. I'm getting frustrated right now, and I'm seeing all these cars going down there. And so the Lord used this gentleman, I won't use his name, on the 12th, and they were the first to come in that day, and they were the last to leave. And by watching him pace back and forth, and I went to go talk to him, and I started talking to him, and I have a testimony. I'm an only child, but I used my testimony with him to bring him closer to me, and basically what I said. When my mom passed away at an early age, she was 51, I sat in the living room and I was pounding the floor and yelling at her. I said, this is hard to do. Family don't want to help me. I'm trying to do all arrangements. How come you did not give me a sibling? And I'm yelling. And so as I'm going through her paperwork, I find that she had 2 miscarriages. And the second one almost killed her. So they had to do a full hysterectomy. Everything was in the paperwork. And I'm telling him this testimony. And they said, how he already had a 3-year-old son. And I said, how would you think your son would handle this if your wife or you would die later on in life? That he will be doing all this on himself. He's an only child right now. And he said, I really don't want the abortion, but we don't have the money. And I said, well, if you have the will, there is a way. In my mind, God makes the way if you're willing to do it. Mm-hmm. And so I said that to him 3 times. Mm-hmm. I said, if you're willing, there is a way. Mm-hmm. And so, and if you need food, I offer him the food pantry at my church. I also tell him, I said, listen, I'm going to extend my authority with my church.
Which is what?
Which is that people that work in the food pantry at my church normally have to be part of the congregation. But this time I extended my authority, saying, if you need extra food, I can get you to be a volunteer in the food pantry. And so what happens, we are able to take food first before we hand it out. Mm. Sometimes we take a little extra because for our family. And so I gave testimony in my church that Sunday. And I had to apologize. And the pastor said, don't apologize. You did not exceed your authority because the Lord gave you the authority to do that. And the first lady is in charge of the food pantry. She says, no, if this is how we have to win souls for the Lord, we'll do it that way. We'll bring them in, let them volunteer at the food pantry, and then slowly bring them to the sanctuary. So.
And which church is this?
It's the Gospel Lighthouse Church.
Pastor Randy.
I've been there for over a year, and I'm also an evangelist. I do travel, and I have to thank Deborah for hiring me, and I get paid through my evangelism trips, which is a blessing. And as I go on my evangelism trips, I usually have a little baby with me. I carry babies in one pocket, and I carry mustard seeds in the other pocket. And so people are still selling me money for First Choice from my last evangelism trip back in San Diego. I researched the city of San Diego. They do not have a pro-life clinic in the city of San Diego. All in the other cities like Ramona, Escondido, they all have pro-life clinics, but not the city of San Diego, I was amazed that they don't have one there.
That's a huge city.
And I think eventually maybe First Choice will come and open one down in city of San Diego.
I'll go to San Diego.
So, but I also
on Governor Newsom's grounds.
But
okay.
I'm going to
be the light.
I'm going to Chicago, Illinois, October, and there's a church not within Chicago, but I'm preaching the 11 o'clock that Sunday morning, and he's already gave me his word that he will commit to First Choice here in Nevada. He will get his congregation to donate money, and so, but he wants me to talk about First Choice over there, but he's already committed himself. So,
in what ways could you utilize volunteers in your department?
Right now I do need help.
Tell us what you do for First Choice. I'm
the safety director there, and I have two volunteers that do work with me. One, he works 1 or 2 days a month. His mom has Parkinson's. His name is Ron, but keep his mom in prayer because she has Parkinson's, and he's trying to work First Choice's schedule also and take care of his mom.
He's a great guy.
He's a good guy, and he's with the Knights of Columbus, and that's how he heard from Sister Jessica went there and spoke about First Choice, and that's how he heard about it. That's what he came to me. He called me one day, and then he came in. I also have another good brother named Brian. He's always faithfully there awesome. on Wednesdays. And if I need him at a moment's notice,
he's actually covering for you right now.
Yes, he is.
He's covering your shift.
He's covering for me right now. And I was asked to go last week, Thursday, but I didn't feel comfortable coming last week, Thursday. It was not the coverage. It's not the radio show. It's leaving First Choice without any coverage. Yeah. That's why I didn't feel comfortable with.
So we have an office just to the side of the front entrance to First Choice that the guys sit in, and they keep a lookout over the facility. They make their rounds and make sure that everybody is okay. it's something that everybody really appreciates, not having to worry about their safety as they're focused on trying to advocate on behalf of these babies that the Lord sends through our doors. So Louis is always looking for people, particularly if they have a military, police background. We do love to have our safety officers armed down there just so that it's a little extra protection if anything happens.
I do require you to have a CCW. It lets me know you do know actually how to how to shoot your firearm, and
And you've gone through safety training.
And I'm going to try to institute that we'll do at least one Saturday every 2 or 3 months. That Ron and Brian and I will go to the range and keep going. I have to qualify every year. I think the ones that have CCWs right now every 5 years. I have a federal carry license, so I have to go qualify every year.
Just back to Lewis's story, because I just realized that I don't think he told the outcome of his story, which was awesome. This couple were illegal immigrants from an Asian country. And while his wife was in the sonography having an ultrasound done with Louise, Louis was out there working the husband. And so when she came out with her baby bag, what happened?
Yes. Oh, and so when I saw the baby bag, I turned to the dad, and I said, "You're gonna have another. You're gonna be a dad again. You're gonna have another child." And him and I have been crying throughout the whole conversation, and he actually hugged me. Throughout most of the time, he kept, he bowed to me, and that's their custom. And when he hugged me, I was actually really surprised because they don't really hug. But I said, you know what? This is the Lord's working on him. And basically what the Lord did, he used him to work with me, the one I was talking with, and then he used me with him. So my frustration is gone. I realized that day that I'm not only there as a safety director, but also I can advocate to the men that are looking for help. He was looking for help, but didn't know the way. And so we gave him all types of resources for them to use, not to worry that you have help.
That's right.
With a phone call away, you have help.
We actually had a pretty awesome story that we got to help even very recently. Deb, do you want to talk about that a little bit? We've had an amazing week.
We've had a ton, but we're going to highlight, I think, 2 right now because our time we see is running down. We had couples from Florida and Arizona come to First Choice this week for abortions. And they had been referred to an abortion clinic nearby us. And today, one of the, what do you want to call them? I don't know if Uber, Lyft, one of those drivers.
A ride share.
A ride share. Dropped a couple off at First Choice in our parking lot. And they came in, they just got off their flight here this morning for a several-day procedure to abort their baby. And really young, sweet couple. Got back to sonography, and there was a 20-week beautiful baby girl that they were able to see. We were talking to this young couple before we came over here, and they had been given ultrasound pictures by Planned Parenthood when they had referred them up here. But the pictures that they gave them in their envelope were pictures that measured the baby in a way that didn't show them their baby. So
they removed all the humanity from the ultrasound images that were eventually provided. And she did disclose as well that they didn't let her see the ultrasound monitor.
Yeah. She had no idea how the abortion would be performed at 20 weeks.
Very deceptive.
Yeah, they really had no idea. And so they were definitely overwhelmed knowing what they could have done and where they ended up. They were getting ready to leave, and one of our sweet motherly ladies went and asked them out in the parking lot, would you like to come inside and have some food? Because one of our awesome board members, Celeste, and food for staff today.
It was delicious. Thank you, Celeste.
And so they were like, yes, please. So they came back into our conference room, and there were several staff back there, or volunteers doing paperwork and stuff, and they came back and sat down and ate lunch while they talked to all of us and shared some of their story, how an organization here had paid for their abortion and all that coming here. So the other one, a couple flew in
From Florida.
and they had been referred to the abortion nearby us as well, because they do abortions up to 6 months there. And she had a couple kids. One of them was really young, and had decided that she just couldn't handle another one right now with the job that her boyfriend had. And so they had come to Nevada for this abortion, had never seen their ultrasound, didn't want to see. She got back to sonography. The sonographer turned on the ultrasound. She closed her eyes and wouldn't look at it. And then our sonographer turned on the Doppler, and she heard that beautiful, strong heartbeat of her baby, and she opened her eyes and she looked at the screen. And they said her baby was just rambunctious. And she saw the baby and she said, oh, it's so big, I can't do that. And so they asked her if she cared what gender, like if she were to be able to pick the gender, what she would want. And she told them she would want a boy. And so the sonographer was like, well, I guess this gives it a little extra safety because it is the boy. So they flew all the way across the United States for an abortion, and God directed their steps into First Choice, and that baby's life was spared from the violent, barbaric death that it was about to experience. And so we're just really grateful and thankful that the Lord continues to redirect the steps of these mothers and fathers into First Choice, and that we're able to...
Even when the steps themselves are being funded by a nonprofit organization that is fully paying all-inclusive trip for them to come and have an abortion over here.
Yeah. If you all would like to counter that funding and fund First Choice,
You can go to fcpsfriends.org today.
in saving these babies, that would be an awesome way to be involved in that.
Before we move on, I do want to have a conclusion to the story that we were sharing online regarding the abortion reversal that had come in this week. Thank you all for your support, and for those that were interested in sponsoring her abortion reversal. We did want to update you with letting you know that she had decided to move forward with the abortion, unfortunately, and she passed the baby a couple days ago. So thank you so much for your outpouring and the support and your prayers. Continue to pray for her, because she will need that prayer. Additionally, any future funds that you guys might want to send in for sponsorships, we do get abortion reversals. We're the only one in Nevada that are providing abortion reversals.
You want to share why she changed her mind on that quickly?
It was a revenge abortion. So she decided that her boyfriend, she found out, was cheating on her with an ex, and through that information, she decided to change her mind and kill his baby. And so I call those revenge abortions.
And she mentioned how it was hard when the baby passed. She saw the baby. So hopefully God will use that event in her life to draw her to Him, and maybe she will come to know Christ through that and find the hope, healing, and forgiveness that will only be found in Him.
So we hope that you stop by. Take a tour at First Choice if you've never been down there. If you haven't been there in a long time, come and see all the updates that have gone on. Come to our banquet. Come see us at the Love Thy Neighbor Festival or some of the other events that are going on.
Be an ambassador on behalf of First Choice and the babies.
Amen.
And vote pro-life too. The Assembly passed the SJR 7, which has to do with making a constitutional amendment in Nevada to have abortion legal all 9 months. So we need to get active out there. We need to show support for the babies, not only financially and through First Choice, but also on the ballot.
Vote your values. That's it for this episode today.
Thanks for coming, Louis.
For joining us.
Thank
God bless
you.
you all.
God
Have a
bless
great
you.
weekend.
Bye.
Thanks for joining your ambassadors for the unborn on the Fight for Life radio today and every Thursday on KKVV 1060 AM, the best news radio, the gospel airship.
If you'd like to support the cause of saving unborn babies, or if you have a question you'd like us to answer on the air, go to fcpsfriends.org or call us at 702-294-CARE. Again, that number is 702-294-2273.
On behalf of his little ones, thank you and God bless.